Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. It's me again, Jen. Hello! And it is Thursday. It is October the 15th, which means we are halfway through October and we are well into spooky season, which is why I guess it's a little bit weird that I am not using a spooky tarot deck, although spirit is in the name. It is the Patch Tarot deck, produced and distributed by the Spirit Science people who have a really interesting YouTube channel with a lot of, well, spooky in a different way videos, kind of questioning the paradigms of things and making your brain work a little bit. So, without further ado, let's see what card we have for this Thursday. All right. Okay. So it is a sword, and in this case, swords are swords. I know in this deck, a couple of the other things are called something different, but swords are swords in this one. It is the Five of Swords, and it does have a fairly typical look of the Five of Swords, although this is really interesting right here in the center, kind of creating a pentagon sort of shape with the bend of the swords. That's kind of cool. There are, let's see, there's a little symbol down at the bottom for Aquarius, and there is a symbol for Venus. The words at the top are conflict and wrath. So that's an interesting choice of words for this one. Before I get into the word choice, let me get into kind of looking at the picture of the characters down here. We have one little green character, Patch Guy, who is looking pretty upset about this whole situation. He looks a little miffed. The blue one is indeed very blue. He is crying. He's very sad. Look how sad he is. I had like sheets of tears coming down. This isn't just one little teardrop. This is sheets of tears. He is devastated. And we have our guy in red here who looks victorious until you look at his expression, which I'm sure is really hard to see in the camera angle here, but hopefully in the picture that I add to the video itself, you can see he's kind of like, what happened here? What's going on? So I really like that his expression is not upset, but conflicted, confused, a little uncertain. He clearly has all the swords. He clearly has won. But what? What has he won and at what cost? So that's really kind of the message of the Five of Swords is what was the cost? So if you are dealing with a situation where you won and you won the day and everything is great and everything is awesome, but you won kind of by either trickery or betrayal, or maybe it doesn't even really feel like a win because you had to do something that was not typical to your personal code of ethics, shall we say. It doesn't even have to be a code of ethics like a religion or a dogma of some kind or anything like that. It just doesn't feel right, doesn't sit right inside of you. You won, but you kind of lost something in the process. The flip side to this is that you fully accept that you won by trickery and cunning and betrayal, and you're just like, yep, it's your fault for not seeing it coming. You knew I was a snake when you picked me up. That's just what happens. So that's an interesting way of having those two words up at the top. I don't really see wrath as the flip side to this because it's not so much like, yeah, I won and now I'm going to stomp on your head about it. It's more like, yeah, I won and I don't feel bad about it. I did it in a way that may have conflicted with my personal interests and everyone's personal interests, but I'm not going to really like, it's not so much a card of where you put it in somebody's face that you won. I guess to some degree it is, but not in a violent sort of way, more in a smug way. So I don't know if wrath is the word that I would use for this. But that said, it does kind of put you in a place of, yeah, I won. Too bad for you. And on the flip side, you do still feel that win, but you also feel a little bit of regret about it. So that maybe the next time you come across this situation, you decide, well, I'm just going to take it a little differently this time. So what else is interesting about this is in the background, we have this giant tidal wave and this big storm coming. I kind of look at this in two different ways as well. It can be that like this is the emotions because we've talked about it before with other card decks. Water is emotion and clouds are the thought process. So you could kind of take this in the more um, symbolic way and go, oh, well, that tidal wave that he's feeling is this I'm gonna crush my enemies sort of feeling, which does have that wrath energy to it. And the clouds are that conflict of like, yes, I am gonna win, and I may be conflicted about why or how I got here, but I'm still gonna get it. I'm still gonna win. Because usually dark clouds are represent conflict. If they're big white fluffy clouds, we're happy, we're chill, we're relaxed. But there is lightning coming out of these clouds. So it could be that this is representing that energy of I won, you better back down. I am a force of nature. You cannot stop me. Which is actually, I think, kind of a good energy to have in some cases. And the flip side is maybe this tidal wave is coming for this guy, and that the others are like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave, but you leave this guy on the beach, and he's just gonna get wiped out anyway. Even though he won, his winning is short lived, and ultimately it's a tragic ending because while he's standing there gloating, he's gonna get wiped out by a tidal wave. So these are some interesting ways of looking at this card, and I really like it because I think it makes you really consider all of the emotions that come with winning. Because this is a card of like conquest in its own way, but also it's a card of thinking about how you feel when you win the day, when you get what you want. It's kind of that careful what you wish for sort of card, too. When we get exactly what we want by whatever means necessary, somewhere deep inside, unless we're complete sociopaths, we do feel a little guilty. We do feel like, yeah, I don't want the other person to feel bad. I mean, maybe I do just a little bit, we get that little bit of gloating. We're like, yeah, I want you to feel bad just a little bit because I won. But at the same time, it does affect us. Somewhere deep inside, we've been there when somebody else has gloated upon us that they have won. So we know how it feels. And again, unless we are a complete sociopath, we understand that this is kind of an icky feeling too. So when we win, I think when this card comes up, at least for me, when I see this card, it sort of is now be a humble victor. Humility is a wonderful thing to cultivate. And I do believe that. It's like, hey, shake hands with the person who you just beat. Say, hey, it was a good game. You fought real hard for that. Otherwise, you end up with this constant feeling of either ickiness or getting a little too full of yourself. And when your fall does come, it's going to be a big one. And no one's going to be there to shake your hand and say, hey, but it was a good game. So I guess maybe for me, the big motto of the Five of Swords card is good game, good game. That should be what you learn from this card rather than neener, I beat you. That's kind of that feeling I get from this card. But either way, I really like all of the dimensions of it, and I really kind of like the layout of this card too. It's very balanced from an artistic point of view. I think it's the most spatially balanced card, which is really cool. And I didn't really go into this pentagon shape because I've never really seen it on any other card. So if somebody wants to make a big deal about that shape, that pentagon shape, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear what anybody has to say about that. Otherwise, as always, check out the links in the description. If you would like your own patch tarot deck, you can hit the link and go directly to their website and order your own. And as always, if you are interested in some of the other crazy stuff that I do, check out the links in the playlists, and also, enjoy Thursday. I know it's not quite the end of the week, but maybe it's a chill day for you. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!